Yo guys, anboniwow here, and it's finally time to go over class talents, PvP talents, and artifact talents for Shadow Priests in Legion. Nailed it. Like as I said in the previous video, which you can check by going here, there I talked about like the overall changes, the spell changes. A lot of things are changing, in case you didn't know. We're losing a lot of spells, we're gaining a lot of spells. I'm really pumped. And I'm even more pumped for the talents. The talents are insane. And the self-healing is insane. And Shadow Priests look really good. So, first of all, I'll go over every single talent. We'll start with the class talents. I'll go over all of them. And then I'll go over PvP talents and then artifact talents. And then I'll make like my own build for PvP talents and normal talents, and I can't really make a build for artifact talents because I don't know what the limitations are. I don't know, like, can we get all of them? Probably not. Do we have to just choose one of the epic ones, the major traits, or is it just two of them? Or I have no idea. So I'll just talk about these, but yeah, I don't know exactly how to make a legit spec out of this. So let's start with the normal class talents. Now on the first row here we've got a Twist of Fate. Twist of Fate is getting a buff. It is now a 20% increased damage after you deal damage to a target below 35% HP. It is still pretty good. Let's see what we got next. Mind Flame, Mind Blast, deal 10% more damage and generate 20% more insanity. Like, it's hard for me to say which is the best right now because I have to like actually play the game. So if we're struggling with generating insanity, we might go this, or we might go this. This is basically a Mind Blast with 3 charges and it generates more insanity than a Mind Blast. It has a 20-second recharge cooldown. I think this is gonna be the best for PvP because it's very bursty. So I imagine you go into Void form, you do your Void Bolt, which is instant, and it does a shit ton of damage, and then you maybe do 3 of these in a row, or you do 1 of them so you get back to max insanity, so your void form lasts longer, and then you do another one so your void form lasts longer. You know, it's kind of like that. I think this is going to be the best one. It's either this or this, but I think Shadow Word Void is going to be the best one. Alright, next up we got Mania, which gives us a 1% movement speed. 1% movement speed for every 5 insanity you have. That means at 100 insanity you will have 20% movement speed buff. So that's the maximum you can get. I think this one's actually probably the best for PvP, but they all work in conjunction with other talents from the PvP talents, and I'll go over that. But yeah, I think this one's gonna be the best. Body and Soul is basically the same. It says your Power Word Shield and Leap of Faith increases your target's movement speed. We lose Leap of Faith and Shadow, so it's only Power Word Shield. But we're gonna be very tanky, I feel like, in Legion, so we won't really need that. Masochism is really good. It says that Shadow Mend does no damage to us, which in theory sounds really OP, because it is a massive heal. But if we get targeted, it doesn't really matter the damage we take. It's insignificant because we take damage and the dot just gets removed anyway. And also, if unless they change it, it's gonna be like a CC breaker, our Shadow Mend. So we can put a Shadow Mend on ourselves and then we can't get polymorphed for however long the dot remains. So that's why I'm not sure if this one's actually gonna be good. I think Mania, actually let's spec it. So I'll say this one's the best and then Mania is the best. That means at full insanity you move 20% faster. Other than that, you move 10% faster ish, like on average. Actually, Body and Soul might be good. They're all pretty good, but I think this one's gonna be the one for me. Next up, this is like this is the good one, guys. This is the tasty one. I'm gonna start with the one in the middle because it's the most boring. Reduce the cooldown on Psychic Scream by 30 seconds. That means our Psychic Scream, which is our fear, is gonna be a 30-second cooldown again. This, I'm calling it right now, this is gonna be the best talent if you play God Comp. If God Comp / Shatter is still gonna be one of the, like, a good comp for Shadow Priests, even though the other ones are really interesting, Psychic Voice is gonna be the talent of choice. I'm pretty sure. But check this out. We got Mind Bomb, completely new. Unleashes a psychic explosion, stunning all enemies within 0 yards of your target for 3 seconds. Replaces Psychic Scream. And that nasty part is that it's a 1.5 second cast. So basically you pick a target and you throw a bomb at them, and then the target and also the target around them gets stunned for 3 seconds. This is interesting, like it's pretty decent, I think, maybe in a group fight or RPG or something. But we do have psychic horror, which is now a stun. So this actually DRs with psychic horror. I don't know what to say really, plus it's a cast. It's interesting, I like the alternative, but I don't think it's gonna be really that good. But here we go, guys. Pam pam pam. Dominant Mind. You may also control your own character while Dominate Mind is active. We're getting a polymorph, boys. This is insane. Alright, so Dominate Mind. Oh, first of all, I forgot to mention this in the other one, in the other video. Dominate Mind, we have it here. Alright, it's not here, but I'll just go over to MMO Champion right now. So basically it means, yeah, it's a sheep. You can control someone and then also control your own character. I hope it's gonna be something like you can choose which character you control. So you can either control them, put them in a weird spot, and then go back to your priest, and then you run to them and you fear them or something like that. I hope it's not just an in-cap effect where you dominate mind someone and then they stand still and that's it. Or an AI just moves them around. I mean, that can be fun, maybe an AI being silly. But I'd rather have the option of, you know, having to control either them or myself. Or what if it's like you control both of them? Like the camera still sits on your character, but if you move forward, then the character moves forward as well. So it's, you know, if you turn around, then the character also turns around. So if you want to put them, let's say a mage drops a Ring of Frost, and then you mind control someone, and then you have to move in a certain way so that they follow you and you move them in the Ring of Frost. That would be fun. But then it means you can't really attack with your dominate-minded person. Anyway, that seems really OP, but even more OP, holy shit, this is not gonna be a thing in life. I can promise you this is getting changed. I hope we can still keep the mind control effect, but this, look at this. Dominate mind, blah 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 blah. Wait, where is Dominate Mind? Mind Blast, Mind... where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Dominate Mind. That's it? Oh yeah, this. So we have the talent. You may also control your own character, blah blah. And here we go. So normally Dominate Mind right now works on everything except mechanical. They change it to control a mind to blah blah blah. Does not work versus mechanical or players. And it shares DRs with disorients. Is that the same as in cap? I think it's the same. Can be cast in shadow form, blah blah blah. Channeled. But here's the kicker. Instant, boys. Instant. Is it? Actually, it's weird. Like, I'm pointing at my screen. Like, the old build says instant, which is not. And the new build says, well, the mana cost. It's channeled, requires priest. Okay, can be cast in shadow form. It doesn't really say. I mean, I was gonna say it's instant, and it's basically an instant polymorph, which is not gonna be the case. Let's be honest here. This is too much. So yeah. Oh, and don't get bummed out about this one, because we'll get to the PvP talents, and yeah. So I think this one's gonna be the best for God comp, but this is gonna be the best for any other comp. Like, this opens up the possibility of having a priest in your team and not considering it a warlock, because, you know, the problem was if you got a mage, the mage had a spammable CC. A warlock had a spammable CC, which was fear, and the priest had none of those. Well, right now, if we get this, then the priest has a spammable CC, which is basically a polymorph, but way cooler. Sorry. I think I'll just go over the normal talents in this video actually, because if I go over all of them, we'll be here for 30 more minutes. So let's see the next tier. This is really cool as well. And this one's the best, hands down. While in void form, your shadow damage bonus is now 40% out of up for 30%, so it's 10% more damage. And that bonus also applies to all your absorbs and healing. Holy shit. That means in void form, we do 40% more healing, more absorbs. So what's it called? The shield, power word shield, is gonna be insane. Shadow Mend, yeah, Shadow Mend is gonna be crazy. We also heal for 40% more from vampiric touches. And there's another thing in PvP talents that works insanely well with this one. This one's gonna be the best for any kind of solo scenario duels. This is great. Probably the best for anything really, except PvE. Reaper of Souls to Shadow Word Death is now castable on targets below 35% health instead of 20% health, and always generates insanity even if it does not kill the target. This is actually probably the second best after Voidlord. It's probably the best for arena, like for serious arena. But you know, with the condition they actually buff Shadow Word Death, because right now, right here it says that Shadow Word Death deals 67% of spell power damage, which is nothing. That's like 6k right now. So this has to be a tooltip bug. But if this gets changed back to being a real execute, then I can see this one being actually better than Voidlord for serious arena. But I'm gonna play with Voidlord because holy shit. Actually, yeah, it's 10% more damage always. So, but this one, like, it's gonna generate insanity even if it doesn't kill a target. You know, you can do it on mage pets, you can do it on a lot of things. So probably Reaper of Souls is gonna be the best for PvP, like for serious arena. But Voidlord, just OP. Void Ray, this one's a PvE one. Each time your Mind Flay deals damage, you gain 10% increased Mind Flay damage for 3 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. So basically, if you stand there and channel Mind Flay, eventually you're gonna have your Mind Flay dealing 60% more damage, which is nice. It's actually pretty good. It means it's almost gonna be as good as a Mind Blast. A bit lower than that. But yeah, this is a PvE talent. This is shit in PvP. Next up, we've got a Sun something. Increase the damage of Vampiric Touch by 20% and the healing of your Vampiric Embrace by 20%. Again, this one works really well with the talent in the PvP calculator, and this is why I should have made the video with both of them at the same time. But I'm going to go over that like in a future video where I make like builds and stuff like that. You'll see, it's gonna be fun. This is pretty good. If you spec that okay, I'll show you. If you spec this, reduce the cooldown of Vampiric Embrace by 120 seconds, so it's gonna be a 1 minute cooldown. If you get this, then maybe it's worth getting this one. And the healing of Vampiric, like, I'm not sure. It says increase the damage of Vampiric Touch by 20% and the healing of Vampiric Embrace by 20%. So Vampiric Embrace right now heals for 10% of all the damage. Does that mean if I spec this, is it gonna be 30% of all my damage, or is it just gonna be 12% of all my damage? That's the question. Is it 20% like added to the 10%, or is it 20% of the 10%? Does that make sense? If it's 20% of the 10%, then this talent is pretty bad. It's there for the Vampiric Touch buff, and that's about it. But I think it might be 30%, in which case it might actually be good. Auspicious Spirits just increase the damage of Auspicious Spirits by 100%. This makes Auspicious Spirits hit for approximately 100% of your spell power, which is significantly better. It might actually be good with a certain artifact talent, which is this one. Vampiric Touch critical strikes also have a 20% chance to proc Shadow Apparitions. So it might be fine in an RBG type of situation, or if you want to spec your priest, make it kind of like an Affliction Warlock, where you just do a lot of spread damage. You have a lot of talents actually, both in the normal talent calculator, the PvP one, and the artifact one. You have a lot of ways to customize your priest, to have it deal either a lot of burst instant damage or a lot of AoE damage with dots. So I think that's really cool. So Auspicious Spirit is not really that bad, but I think it's worse than this one. And Shadowy Insight, your Shadow Word Pain damage has a 10% chance to reset the cooldown of Mind Blast. It doesn't say anything about making it an instant cast, and I'm not sure how the rotation kind of things will go, like in between dotting things and Mind Blasting every 9 seconds, and purging, of course. Am I getting like, do I have nothing else to do? Because if that's the case, this might be good, but I don't see it being really that good. I see this one being really good for RPGs and like super AoE fights where you rely heavily on dotting stuff and being like an Affliction Warlock. And if this actually means your Vampiric Embrace heals for 30% of the... But actually it doesn't even matter, like you can't... I'll show you, you can't go Fleeting Embrace because Void Shield over there is insane. It's so good, holy moly. So I don't know here, I have no idea. I'm not sure at all. I'll put this one, but it might not be the best. Alright, here we have Power Infusion, which is basically the same. It increases our haste by 25% and also increases in the Insanity generation by 25%. It's a decent 2-minute cooldown. If it's dispellable, I'm not gonna pick it ever. I just don't like it if it's dispellable. If it's not, then it's probably gonna be the best. This is funny. Mindbender is the same as it is now. Instead of giving us mana, it gives us 5 insanity. When it hits someone, it has a 1-minute cooldown. It lasts for 20 seconds instead of 12 seconds like the normal Shadow Fiend. So this might be really good, but wait, did they change that? They did. Alright, so this actually might be really good. And then we have Shadow Crash, which is a new ability. Hurl a bolt of slow-moving shadow energy at the destination, dealing 200% of spell power damage to all targets within 8 yards. And it generates 15 insanity. I like this because it's an instant. If it generates 15 insanity by itself, you just push the button and you have 15 insanity, that's pretty shit. But if it generates 15 insanity for every target it hits, for instance, then I can see this one being really good. Because let's say if you hit 3 targets, let's say a hunter puts Stampede on you and then you Shadow Crash, holy shit, that's basically 100 insanity almost. So it's kind of like, I think it's like Arcane Orb right now for Arcane Mages. So I'm not sure, these are all pretty decent in my opinion. If this one's undispellable, I'll go for this one. If not, I'll probably stay Shadow Crash. Just because I wanna, if I go to artifacts, we have this thing, which also replaces our Shadow Fiend, and this one replaces our Shadow Fiend, which is weird. They kind of cancel each other out. So I will say I will go for Shadow Crash, but I'm not sure. And finally, on the level 100 tier, wait, don't we get to like, don't we level to level 110? What happened to 110? Anyway, level 100, we have Legacy of the Void. Casting Mind Blast increases the effect of the next Shadow Word by 50% for 30 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. That means the next Shadow Word can be a 100%, like it does a 100% more damage. So it does double damage. What Shadow Words do we have? Well, we have Shadow Word Pain, which is probably the worst to use it on. We have Shadow Word Void if you spec it, and it's basically like a Mind Blast. So it would do as much damage as a Void Bolt. And we have Shadow Word Death, which if it gets buffed, it might be really good. Because you can keep the charges. You can't really keep the charges, can you? Let's say you manage to keep the charges and then your Shadow Word Death like hits like a mega truck and one-shot something. This might be good for PvP. Mind Spike, it's tricky. It says blast the target for 1 Shadow Frost damage and increases the damage of your next Mind Blast within 15 seconds by 50%, stacking up to 5 times, and it replaces Mind Flay. So like the damage of Mind Spike stays the same. It's still Shadow Frost, so if you get kicked in Shadow, you can still do Mind Spikes, so that's good. But the big thing is the damage increase of Mind Blast. So if you can stay there and spam cast, like there's 2 ways of reading this. It says, increasing the damage by 50% up and stacks up to 5 times. Does that mean if you stack it to 5 times, does it mean your next... No, it can be. I was thinking maybe it's your next 5 Mind Blasts hit for 50% more. But no, because it says the next Mind Blast within 15 seconds, so it's impossible to actually, yeah, wow. So it's actually, like if you do 5 of these, your Mind Blast is gonna hit for 250% more? What? Damn, that's a lot of damage. You know what would be really fun? Wow, this is actually really good. If you can get to cast Mind Spikes in Arena, this might be a one-shot here. And this, I'm sure you all know of this one. Surrender to the old god, sacrificing your soul for the ultimate power. All your insanity generating abilities generate 300% more insanity until you exceed void form, and then you die. RIP. Requires void form. This is gonna be more of a PvE one. It's basically like a burnout phase on a boss. You know, he gets super low, and then you wanna like completely one-shot him. I don't feel like this is actually really good, unless you can stay in void form for a really long time and abuse void bolt, like at least a minute in void form and abuse the void bolt. Then it might be good. Other than that, it's meh. I don't like it. In PvP, it's kind of shit, because there's no way around you dying. Like, it can be fun. I'm gonna play with it for sure. I'm gonna have fun with it. But this is insane. If void bolt gets refreshed, like the cooldown gets refreshed as soon as you get into void form, there's so many void things. So if, let's say, this is the combo I was thinking. You do 5 Mind Spikes, and then you do 1 big fat Mind Blast that basically hits as hard as a void bolt, and then you go into void form, and then you hit an instant void bolt. That's a lot of damage. That's probably gonna put someone in Shadow Word Death range, I imagine. Like, it's a ton of damage. That is a one-shot right there. If this might not be very good in PvP, because it does require you to sit there and cast. So overall, I think this one's gonna be the best for PvP. But this one looks fun, so we're gonna keep this one. Alright, so this video is getting to an end now because it's been 25 minutes, almost. In the next video, we'll talk about PvP talents. This is really good. And I'll probably squeeze in the artifacts as well. And then in the next video, I'll go over both talents. Like I'll make some specs, because I'll show you some really cool specs that you can do, some combinations. You'll see some crazy one shots here. All right, so thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.